Check X1. X1, check. Check X1. Check. X1, check. We rolling. Raw 9/8/25. Your amplified review. I, of course, your host, B motherfucking C. For this cold open teaser, what can I tell you? AJ Lee returned to Monday Night Raw after 10 years of being away. AJ Lee, for everybody that's against AJ Lee coming back, AJ Lee isn't a big deal to them. They couldn't care less. AJ Lee is probably the only interesting story on Monday Night Raw with Punk, Rollins, and Becky Lynch. Because WWE would have you believe that the biggest story is the Usos versus the Bron for the Palooza of Wrestling. Because that's what started the show. 10 minutes of yeeting. And what ended the show? The Usos and the Bron and LA Knight. The third wheel, he'd be the fifth wheel, right? You got the Usos, the Bron, and then you got LA Knight. You talk about a convoluted mess. They don't know what to do with LA Knight. This guy's on SmackDown. Snap your fingers, blink your eyes, wave your Harry Potter wand, expecto patronum. He's on Monday Night Raw. Like an RKO out of nowhere. He's just on Monday Night Raw. Okay? They must have huge plans. They have nothing. Roman Reigns is doing his thing with Bronson Reed. Oh, no. Roman Reigns is now back on the shelf filming movies. He's on vacation. Hey, he's fulfilling his contract. You can't even player hate. Good for him. He's got a contract where he only has to show up a handful of times throughout the year. So the Usos are now in a program with the Brons and LA Knight. You can't even do a six-man, which would also be boring AF. But Rollins is tied up with Punk again. Again, LA Knight. What do you do with them? So what do they come up with? What if you just have conflict with other faces? What if you are now in this thing with the Usos? Like, you and Jey have beef. So that's what they did. LA Knight is just creating his own beef now. He's just like, him and Jey Uso have a thing, and Mid-Jim is in the middle of it. We haven't seen this 1,000 times on WWE programming over the last 10 years. That's what they're doing with LA Knight. When it was all said and done Monday Night Raw, LA Knight was looking up at the lights being defeated by Bronson Reed. That's right, Bronson Reed is your main event of Monday Night Raw. Still mid-card Bronson. He's not main event yet. The tribal thief thing was cute for a few weeks. BC was on board with it, but without the shoes, what's he the tribal thief of? He's not even doing tsunamis anymore. I don't know if he muffed up his knees or not, but now he's doing some other move, and LA Knight's just looking up at the light. At this point, LA Knight's probably trying to get back to catering, get the triple layered moose cake before catering packs it up. And it was all said and done, Jey Uso is spearing LA Knight to further that conflict that is out of nowhere because they don't have enough heels. So Jey Uso spears LA Knight, and Jey Uso gets booed out of the arena, basically. It was hilarious. Maybe they thought it would be a little bit more mixed, but the crowd is hyped up for LA Knight because they got some revenge post-match, and the faces reigned supreme, and the heels were chased off. And LA Knight is kind of like shaking hands with Jim Uso. The crowd's into it, and then Jey spears LA Knight, and the crowd goes silent. It was hilarious. And then they think about it, and they're like, wait, we like LA Knight. And they started booing Jason Uso, Yeeterman. They were booing Yeeterman. So all of this equity that Hunter Hearst Helmsley put into Uso for what seems like the better part of the whole year, starting from Royal Rumble on, the world title victory at Mania, and everything that followed. All of that equity. Snap of a finger, this dude was being booed instantly. The crowd is so wishy-washy today, and that's why you cannot book for the live crowd as a whole. This is what I tried to tell you guys, man. When Hunter Hearst Helmsley says he brings focal groups throughout the arenas, guys, these are kids dragging their parents out. They're spending 10 times what they paid even 3 years ago. They're there to participate no matter what. They don't care if Seth is a heel. They're going to sing with him. They don't care how stupid the word yeet is and how ridiculous they look dancing. They're going to dance and scream yeet. They paid a lot of money. They're just there to have a good time. Awesome. They don't care about storylines, larger than life characters. So when I saw Jey with Jimmy, I said, you know what? That's how it should have been all along anyway. Jey Uso is a mid-carder at best, but even worse, I feel he's just a tag team guy with a cute catchphrase. That's awesome that Yeet got over. But when you look at the metrics, him as the world champion, him as one of your top faces, the Raw numbers went backwards. SmackDown went backwards. The merchandise sales, he only went up 6% tops. He remained at 3% as a net positive. He was almost always out of the top 3. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Roman Reigns, LA Knight was consistently beating him in merch. So what was throwing the world title on Jey Uso doing? Metrics, statistics, numbers, nothing. Everything was going backwards. But the live crowd yelled yeet. Okay, you could do that as a mid-carder. You could do that in a tag team. That'll help the product. Cool. You go up 3% in merchandise. Won't affect the ratings, but the live crowd can yeet and dance. Twice the fun, right? Double the pleasure. You got both Usos yeeting. So I'm glad they're back together, even if just for a short time. I'm glad Uso was booed out of the arena last night because we didn't end another show yeeting like we started the show. But it's just wild that in one weekend, from Friday to Monday, Samuel Zayn was getting booed out of the arena in Chicago. And just 3 nights later, Jason Uso is being booed out of Milwaukee. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn both getting booed over the last 4 nights. These are the 2 dudes primed to be the stars of the company. Roman's never there. Cena's last year. Jey Uso wins the world title this year. They're priming Sam Zayn to win it next year. Everybody's favorite Home Depot associate, the associate of the month, by the way. Samuel Zayn is probably going to win this world title at 42. This is the new Hogan Warrior combo. This is the new Austin Rock combo. This is the new Cena Roman combo. Jason Yeaterman and Samuel Zayn. And you wonder why metrics are going backwards, statistics, numbers. And both are being booed. I don't understand this booking at all. Again, I'm glad we didn't yeet off the air again, but I am dumbfounded that LA Knight's looking up at the lights in that matchup last night, and then after the match, you got everybody booing Jey Uso just because you have to create conflict between Jey and LA. Is it worth it? Having an arena boo the one guy you've been trying to get super over for the last 8 months, Jey Uso? Is it worth LA Knight losing the match, and then when the show goes off the air, LA Knight is in agonizing pain after getting the spear from Jey Uso? Is it worth it? What's the payoff? Jey versus LA? So we can have a yeet fest? The crowd will go, yeah, and then Jey will punch LA and he'll go, yeet, and then LA will, yeah, and then yeet, and then yeah, and then, oh, maron. This is what you got last night. if you missed the show, and I know a lot of you guys missed the show, you just catch BC, you say thank you for taking that hit for us, BC. Thank you for watching so we didn't have to. You're welcome, because it is a chore to get through. But if you're wondering why there's not much to talk about in the cold open teaser but AJ Lee, it's because that is their biggest storyline. Usos versus Braun Brawns. And LA Knight, just in the middle of it, just because they don't have anything. Seth Rollins is tied up with Punk. There's not enough heels. LA's got to work with faces. And nobody truly gets over. LA certainly isn't going to get any much more over working with Jason Uso and Jimmy, taking on other faces, a tag team. Jay's already getting booed. AJ Lee is all I can tell you. Because what else can I tell you in this cold open teaser? That Penta took on Rusev? Yeah, that happened. We'll talk about it. Not enough to talk about in the opening. Nikki Bella took on Asuka? That happened. We'll talk about it. Not enough to talk about in the cold open. The espresso, latte, macchiato, grande, americano? He wrestled last night. Forgot against who. It's in my notes somewhere. We'll talk about it. Not enough to talk about in this cold open. And then the main event, Bronson Reed, LA Knight. And actually, before we kick off too, little bit of info. I know the last time I uploaded to you guys was probably the SmackDown review over the weekend. So it's been a couple of days, but if you haven't heard, AJ Lee has signed a new multi-year contract with WWE. Full-time too, or at least close to it. Maybe not the fullest of time, but a new long-term deal with WWE. So for those that thought this was just a pop, that's what you started to see in the community, right? Oh, this is just a pop. And I understand Hunter Hearst Helmsley books for the moment without a plan attached to it, right? Like Brock will just show up at SummerSlam and then you won't see him for a couple months and things like that, right? Travis Scott will end WrestleMania as if anybody was going to care about that. I don't know how Hunter Hearst Helmsley thought that was the way to end WrestleMania. I'm still dumbfounded by that. But he shows up, kind of cost Cody the title, and then you don't see Travis Scott. I understand. Helmsley books for the moment. But to lump AJ in with that is just, it's not how you use wrestling terminology, right? So when people are saying AJ is just coming back for a pop, BC tried to tell you from the jump, it's more than that because she's absolutely going to be working a program and a match and most likely sign a new contract with WWE, which means many more matches. That's more than coming back for a pop. I mean, she's coming back for an actual run. Full-time, long-term. And that's what happened. We did find out BC was absolutely correct. AJ Lee has signed a new contract. So it was not just a pop. I started to see that all over the, it's just a pop, guys. Don't get too excited. AJ is just coming back for a pop. She's coming back for a cup of coffee. And then she's gone again. Not the case. AJ is back. So hopefully she'll be hoisting up some championships in the future. And for anybody who's crying, well, about today's roster, that's the problem, basically. We bring back all the old-timers. Because clearly the new-timers ain't doing it. Hunter Hearst Helmsley's not doing his job booking them correctly. And a lot of the talent today, it's unfortunate to say this. As far as charisma and personality, how do I say this eloquently? They suck. How's the Performance Center working out, where everybody goes to promo classes? Everybody wrestles the same and has to do all the same things. So when they come through the assembly line, because that's what it is, WWE has become a distribution center, an assembly line. If you go to any warehouse and you see the assembly line and all the boxes coming off the line, they all look the same. They're coming down throughout the whole line the same. They're being tagged up and taped up and the tags being put on and they're shipped out the same. That's pro wrestlers. And the warehouse is the Performance Center. Wrestlers are being manufactured. So why would they have personalities and charisma? Why would they think they can even be unique? Did you see AJ's promo last night? Whether you loved it or you hated it, it didn't matter. There was personality in that, man. She was just herself rocking out. Where is that? Everybody just feels like they have to spit out their bullet points. They have to spit out what they have to say. Try to remember it all. They look stiff. They look like robots. So for everybody going, but they're taking a spot from the newer generation. Who? If they haven't gotten over yet, then that's not a AJ or a Nikki Bella issue, or a Brock Lesnar issue, or a John Cena issue coming back for a whole year. If Kaiser's not getting over, that's not John Cena's fault or Brock Lesnar's fault. Or if they want to bring back Mark Calloway. If Steve Austin wants to have another 2-year run, he's not the reason Kaiser's not over. Kaiser right now is playing a retarded luchador. He's under a mask called the Americano Espresso Macchiato Grande. You can make it a venti. It wouldn't matter. Make Kaiser a venti. Nobody's going to care. He's being booked that stupidly. And you wonder why he's not getting over. You can blame Hunter Hearst Helmsley. It's not talent coming back. If they want to have another run, I'd gladly watch Jonathan Cena do what he does in the ring. I'll watch Brock Lesnar destroy somebody more than watching Kaiser wrestle for 9 minutes. That's the truth. I will watch Nikki Bella do that little shaking of the ass at the top of the ramp before I want to watch a Dragon Ball Z Lee match. I can't be any more honest with you, and the ratings tell you that there's many more people like BC. Enough with the 5-star classics and the This Is Awesome spot fests. How many ratings, how many stars are we going to give it? We have to get back to the basics of pro wrestling. Larger than life characters, storylines we care about. Individuals need to be individuals, unique, amplified. So you bitch and you complain that all these old-timers are coming back, boys. Yes. Yes, because nobody else can do the job. And I absolutely blame Helmsley. First and foremost. He's the reason we're in a position where old-timers got to come back. But until he steps up and starts booking people like Carmelo Hayes more properly, Andrade, give us a reason to give a damn about these people. I don't care if it's Aleister Black and Damian Priest. We need a reason to care. Swig of coffee will start this show. Am I? All right, I'm being told that the mic may be going in and out, so it's early. Maybe the mic can't handle the amplification. If that is the case going forward, we'll just do a switch. I got plenty of other mics. We'll switch to the KG3. We haven't used that one in a while. It's not like a prop. That's a working microphone, guys. So we will do a switch up if that is the case. I got plenty of mics. A lot of them are at like 80% because we kind of already blew them up. We were too amplified. But they're not broke per se, so we keep them around. They're still working microphones. They're just maybe they've taken some amplification over the reviews. All right, hopefully this one keeps up though. 9/8/25 Monday night. Oh, by the way, salute to my Green Bay Packers. We whooped the Detroit Lions' ass this weekend in Lambeau, man, an ass whooping. So pretty cool, man. We started the season 1-0. Thursday night, we have a quick turnaround. Green Bay's taking on Washington Redskins. That's right. I said it. This Thursday. So we'll whoop some Washington ass as well. So go Pack, go. All right. This Raw 9/8/25. The show starts with a 10-minute Yeet Fest. Yeeting for 10 minutes. We haven't seen that almost every week on Raw. So that made BC's eye twitch. And then talking about it now, my eye just started twitching again. But at least it was both Usos. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. I said it again in the cold open teaser. Jimmy and Jey together is how it should have been all along, even with the yeeting. That's cool. It got over with the live crowd. That's where it ends. It didn't translate over to the crowd watching at home. The ratings told you that. Your merchandise sales told you that. Nobody was picking up the phone, going online and shop.com and getting YEET shirts. The merchandise sales tell you that. The ratings tell you that. The metrics tell you that. Jey Uso was over with the live crowd. That's cool. It never translated, unfortunately. Some people, they transfer over into the mainstream. A la Hulk Hogan, Rock was able to do it. John Cena is doing it. Roman remains to be seen. But not many, and I'm talking top over talent, singles competitors that got over, main eventers. They don't necessarily transfer over into the mainstream. Doesn't always happen. They tried. They took the needle in the haystack. They went for the home run. They put all the chips on the table with Jason Yeaterman. And it failed. It failed. It just did, man. You guys saw the show Unreal. While BC in real time, every Raw review was telling you how bad this was going for Jey Uso from the Rumble on. And everyone's going, oh, that's being harsh, basically. That's negative, basically. I don't understand, basically. Jey Uso is okay, I feel. Guys, in real time, they were having meetings backstage about if they should pull the plug with the Jey Uso push. The show Unreal showed you that. Bruce Pritchard, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Suits and Ties, the writers. They were talking about how they were seeing that he was exhausted. He wasn't pulling his weight. He couldn't handle the pressure. All the things BC was telling you in real time. That's what I mean when I say I don't bullshit the audience. Not mine. I won't do it. You come here for the real cold hard facts, the amplified truth, and that's what I'm going to give you, man. And sure enough, you guys see all these months later when that show came out, whoa, BC, that's everything we were talking about on the channel, while everybody else was glazing over Jason Uso. Everybody was talking about how YEET Mania is taking over. BC was saying how this is not working. We weren't being conned by the crowd yeeting and dancing and all the kids that they planted around Uso so he could dance with them and pat him on the head. We saw right through the BS. It didn't translate over to the mainstream. It's a fun little participation thing to do in the arena. You could do that as a mid-carder. You could do that in a tag team. They're finally realizing that. So, they're together last night. So that softened the blow a little bit of the yeeting. You know, because now at least it's the Usos together. Get him away from the world title. Get him away from the main event, because he's not. You can call yourself main event, but you're not. Jimmy and Jey together. That's how it should have been all along. Jey is sporting a shirt, and this is you wonder why merchandise sales are going backwards. As a company, that's company-wide. But if you wonder why Jey Uso's merchandise never really went past 6% tops, it's because all his shirts just say YEET, as if that's this version of what? It's stupid. But check this new shirt out. Jey is sporting a shirt that's now on shop.com that says Monday Night Raw. No, that's legit. I know a lot of you guys didn't catch the show. Monday. And day is kind of crossed out, and Jey is Monday Night Raw. Yep. If you're wondering why merch sales are dropping 18% year over year, this is why. And then Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come out. Top of the ramp. Bronson has merch now, right? New merch. He has a shirt. Bronson has a shirt. It's been out for a couple weeks, actually. But now's a good time to talk about it since we have Monday Night Raw in the ring. Bronson Reed has a shirt that says Tribal Thief. But for a couple weeks, he stole some shoes that he no longer has. How is it no longer fits the character, right? That was the best part of Bronson Reed in his main roster existence, and that's over. There is no more Tribal Thief. Moreover, what kid is going to school with Tribal Thief shirts? Is that cool? Is Monday Night Raw cool? We're not done yet. Braun Breaker's got a new shirt. You ready for Braun Breakers? Oh, this is a good one. Badass Braun Breaker. It's just his name. This is cool. You gotta call yourself an unpredictable badass, man. Otherwise, people are like, are you really a badass? And by the way, if you're not unpredictable, are you really a badass? The unpredictable badass, Braun Breaker. That's badass, Braun Breaker. Oh, but here's the selling point. If you're not sold, on the back, it says, woof, woof, woof. I can't even say that with a straight face, man. Woof, woof. It barks on the back. It barks. Now, I mean, the shirt doesn't, but that's probably coming though, right? Like if you press a button at the bottom, the shirt talks. I mean, they have like Hallmark cards that do that. You press a button and it starts singing, right? Burn, baby, burn. Ding, ding, ding. Starts singing happy birthday to you. I bet you're going to have shirts soon that like talk. LA Knight. Yeah. Yeet. 4 letters, 1 word. Dumb. These shirts are going to be singing. I just came up with some. That could be an idea, man. Shark Tank. Somebody going to take that idea and take that over to Shark Tank. I don't blame you. Anyway, what am I talking about? Oh, yeah. Woof, woof, woof. Right? It's going to start barking. God, that's a real thing. Guys, the back of the shirt says woof, woof, woof. What kid is going to school with that? Back in the day, it was cool. Austin 316 had meaning. You had shirts that said, suck it. Literally, DX, man. It was not made for school, which made it more cool. So you would go to school. There would be a shirt. I can't even keep a straight face, bro. They would say, suck it. There'd be an arrow. And guys, we were kids. The poor teachers. How do you just let the kids roam the hallways? Some teachers did. Some had a problem with it. The point is, it was cool, man. Even the Rock's Brahma Bull and that cool Brahma Bull logo, that was cool. Undertaker had about 12 different cool shirts. But you wonder why merchandise sales are down. Who's cool? The Rock has to tell you 1,000 times over the last 2 years that wrestling is cool again. When you have to constantly say that, it's probably not cool. When Cody Rhodes has to tell you how great business is and how it's better than the Attitude Era, it's probably not that great, and it's probably not better than the Attitude Era. Ask yourself, why are these wrestlers more and more having to sell us that this is the best era of wrestling? It's probably because it's not. Look at these shirts. Monday Night Raw, Tribal Thief, Woof, 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 Badass Breaker. Let's go to school with that. Timmy, you got the new Woof, Woof, Woof? Yeah, man, shop.com. Expedited shipping. My mom's got Prime membership, man. I got it in like a day and a half. I pass by everyone. Everyone's like, woof, woof, woof. I'm like, yeah, Wolfgang. How is this a talking point on the review? Because everyone has their cute little new merch shirts and they all suck. It's laughable. It's corny. It makes you think, what am I doing on this Monday night? There's better things to do. I could throw myself in traffic. I could put my don't piece through a brick wall. LA Knight jumps the Braun Bronze. Again, they were at the top of the ramp. So LA Knight, again, he's got nothing. He's in the middle of this because Seth Rollins is tied up with the CM Punk thing. Roman Reigns, well, he's a face anyway, but Roman's on the They have nothing. They brought LA Knight from SmackDown to Raw. They never had a plan. And they have nothing. They're just like, what if you just continue things with the Braun Bronze, but they're more with the Usos? Maybe if you just have conflict with the Usos. That's awesome, said nobody ever. So Knight's out there just jumping the Braun Bronze and having some beef with the Usos. And then everyone just starts brawling. This was a mess. No, I mean it. It was a legit mess, guys. Like even the brawl, nothing was making sense. Like Jay's almost hitting Jimmy, or Jay's about to hit. LA Knight moves the My eyes twitching. I don't even know. Everybody was just brawling with one another. and like saying sorry because one person almost hit the other, and they're like, oh my God, no, I didn't mean to hit you. Hit him, but I didn't mean to. I moved and you kept going. And that's supposed to be exciting? And all it did was set up the match for Palooza, Usos versus Braun Brawns. And by the way, in case you're wondering, yes, LA also has new merch. You ready for LA's new merch? This is real. I'm not just having a laugh here. This is real. LA Knight's new merchandise. With everybody saying. No, that's it. I wish there was more I wish that was a joke. His new merch says, with everybody saying. With everybody saying this show puts you out better than NyQuil. On the back says LA Knight, by the way. So I guess the idea is you show up to school with the shirt and everyone's go, oh, that's so cool. Let me see the back. Oh, it says LA Knight. Oh, I get it. With everybody saying, then you turn around. LA Knight. With everybody saying. Stupid. And that was your first segment that went 26 minutes after filler, all of that good stuff. 26 minutes. The first half an hour of this show. And what did we do? Set up LA and LA Knight and Bronson for later in the night. We got to watch a Bronson Reed main event because that's the star power today. And the beginning of this just set up the Usos versus the Braun Brawns. That's all the first half an hour did. Samuel Zayn is your big SmackDown thing. That Sami Zayn. That's where we are in WWE in 2025. Samuel Zayn is your big SmackDown storyline. And on the red brand, the Usos are the centerpiece. The Usos. You want to know how fair I am on these reviews? How fair of a critic, how honest, I should say, even more so. Or right in line. Fair, honest. If you're new to the channel, the Usos are actually my favorite tag team. Something about them. Together, their matches, the way they work on the mic together. Everything about that's just the tag team I put up on the pedestal. I will be the first to say that them being the focal point of the show is downright tragic. In 2025, the Usos are the focal point of these shows. I mean, if people don't see a problem with that, that's the problem. That people don't see the problem with it. And that there's enough people showing up to the arenas still. The credit cards aren't currently maxed out yet, so parents are still throwing down the plastic to get these tickets. And they're showing up and they're eating and they're dancing and there's just no problem. So as long as the arenas look like they're doing that, that must be translating at home. Then you look at the numbers, the statistics, the ratings, all of it, and it's not translating. So when do they finally make the change? Where do you go? They brought LA Knight over. They thought that would help. And then they're like, but we don't have a plan. So, oops, botched. Roman Reigns, he's more Monday Night Raw. But, we forgot. He never shows up. Oops, botched. Guess you're stuck with the Usos. No thought gets put into any of this. No thought gets put into it, and when no thought gets put into it, that's what you have. Bronson Reed and the Usos are your focal point of the show. So then we end hour one, we had a couple matches end hour one. I'm trying to rush the review here like I was trying to rush the show last night. AJ Styles versus the Grande Vanilla Latte Macchiato Frappuccino Cappuccino Espresso Americano. I never noticed this. I never did until last night. Apparently, this has been a few months they've been doing this. But they bill Grande as being from the Gulf of America. That's awesome. I mean, if that's not trolling at the highest from Paul Hunter-Hearst Helmsley Levesque, this is Paul Hunter-Hearst Helmsley Levesque poking and screwing with the liberals. He's got this dude hailing from the Gulf of America. Oh my That's gonna trigger a lot of liberals, bro. It's Mexico! Helmsley's laughing backstage on headset. I never noticed it before. That was wild. Another grande espresso was at ringside, causing a distraction. How to Train Your Dragon Ball Z Lee would take him out. And then Styles hits the original latte with an AJ Styles clash for the W. So LA. AJ Styles picks up another W. I've been saying this for years about Styles. Him picking up W's has never been a concern. If you look at AJ Styles' win-loss record since he's been with the WWE, it's one of the really good ones. It's one of the better ones. He's not 50-50 booked. He's a winner. So why does so many times one of the best wrestlers in the world, I still feel today, AJ Styles, why does he never feel relevant? It's because he's never booked in anything you can care about. So he collects W after W. That's not the problem. The problem is he's never involved in anything we give a crap about. He's in there with a bunch of lattes. Like anybody cares. And then you got Dragon Ball Z Lee out there. Who cares? What is any of this about? What does it do? And also, I feel... Let me just sum up this segment, first of all. This was dumb. This was stupid. This was pointless. This was just bad. It was bad. I feel like Kaiser is being punished for what Charlie said to Tiffany right before WrestleMania. Tell Kaiser to stop going in her DMs or something is what Charlie Flair said. So, and ever since, if you noticed, Kaiser, he was kept off TV for a while. Then they put him in this weird Americano mask. Something happened with that, and they have just... Kaiser is, as for now anyway, a thing of the past. It's almost like they're just trying to erase that for the rest of the year. So really weird, man. So in a roundabout way or straight up, Kaiser is being punished for that. And what if that was true? Did anybody stop and think, what if that was true? Why would Charlie's... Like, at first I'm thinking Charlie just said that out of thin air. You know, just like a little jab to Tiffany. Kaiser wasn't really talking to Charlie. But Charlie said that just to create some conflict. But then you start thinking, what if? Because not long after we heard about the divorce between Andrade and Charlie Flair. And what if there's beef between Andrade and Kaiser? They're different brands, so they're trying to keep them apart, right? Isn't Andrade SmackDown and Kaiser's Red brand? My point is, what if there was more to that story? And Kaiser's being punished in a couple of different ways. What if? But there's got to be more to the story, man. What happened to Kaiser? Because this is sad. Raquel Rodriguez then defeats Lyra Valkyria via Tejana Bomb pinfall. Val is getting better and better. I know everyone likes to shit on Val, but she is actually really good at this wrestling thing. The power was on full display last night. She was basically doing like pull-ups and like these weird inadvertent sit-ups on Raquel's body on the turnbuckle. If you guys did see the match, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, Raquel's strong anyway, so she just let... Val was kind of using Raquel as like a jungle gym. It was incredible. And Raquel, some positive feedback about Raquel's matchups. She's been putting together a string of good matches. So that's the highest praise I can give somebody like Raquel Rodriguez, because just 6 months ago when I heard she's having a wrestling match, you kind of roll your eyes. Oh, let's just get this over with. Hopefully this is not more than a couple sips of coffee. Now, when I hear Raquel's in a match, I'm like, this could be good. We're going to start hour number 2. This is AJ Lee with a live mic. So AJ Lee on the mic to start hour 2. She gets a therapy chant going. That was a real thing. That was different. Says that after her first run, she just wasn't in the best of space. So she went, she got better, even saw therapy. The crowd starts a therapy chant. And then for especially the younger audience, AJ says, allow me to introduce myself. My name is AJ Lee, and I am your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. And there's so much truth to that, whether it's a Cora Jade, a Roxanne Perez, and so many in between who have stated they're not pro wrestlers without the inspiration of AJ Lee. AJ then talks enjoying having the IC title the last several days. If you guys missed SmackDown, after it went off the air, there's footage of the title being left behind, Becky's IC title, because remember, Seth threw Becky over his shoulder and hightailed it. So that the heels just ran off. Title was left behind. AJ picks it up, starts petting it, skipping around with it. You can hear her say, I like this. I think I'm going to keep this. So AJ was in possession of the IC title. So AJ is talking about how she enjoyed it the last several days. She talked about skipping around the house with it. You can't help as she's saying this, you're kind of picturing it, right? So I'm picturing AJ skipping around the house and Larry following. She talks going to bed with it. You can't help but think AJ and maybe some nighttime booty shorts, right? Some nighttime, a little comfortable night gear. You can't help but think that. Although she's been with CM Punk for so long, maybe it's, when you're with somebody for so long, it gets a little comfortable and then you get into the granny PJs. So maybe AJ's getting some comfy PJs on. But as she's telling the story, you can't help but think of maybe some nice booty shorts. But she's going to bed with the IC title, she says, and I quote, things got a little awkward this morning trying to get dressed. Things got a little awkward trying to get dressed this morning. So again, you can't help but think it's in the promo. So you're trying to, you're picturing, you most likely have if you're getting dressed, you probably have a naked AJ Lee. So it's, we're listening to the promo. It's our job to try to picture it. So dang it, got to picture a naked AJ as she's trying to get unnaked and put clothes around this title. So she says things got awkward. It's a funny line. It's a funny line, picturing a naked AJ Lee. There's worse things in life. So I will say this, man, after all the jokes, she even kind of had fun with her height. What was that line? What was she talking about her height? I forgot what she said, but then she just said something like, I'm just so short. And I just thought that was funny. I'm like, that's AJ. She's not afraid to she'll even poke fun at herself. She doesn't care. You're going to just get amplification. You're going to get honesty. That's part of the whole reality pipe bomb that she dropped in, 2012, 2013? Which brings me to my next point too, because after a 10-year hiatus, AJ is better on the mic than basically the entire current women's roster and most of the current men's roster. And it's because she's just more free. She understands what she has to put out there that was given to her on paper from the writer. But you're going to get it with AJ's uniqueness behind it. You're going to get the AJ stamp of approval, which is her turning herself up to a 10. And there's going to be it's just this unique factor you don't get with most. Most are stiff with the microphone. They're trying to get out all the bullet points that was presented to them. Everything they have to hit, right? You have to say this, you have to mention this, you have to sell the pay-per-view, and then end it with this. And they're just trying to get all that out, and it seems robotic. There doesn't seem like there's a personality, charisma. Even if you didn't like AJ Lee's promo, the fact is there's personality and charisma behind that. You don't have that with basically anybody. Where's the uniqueness? Where's the person? You may hate AJ's personality. You can't stand the charisma, but she has it. And it's lacking. So after 10 years, AJ brings that promo style back and you're like, oh yeah, a unique promo. What a concept. Becky Lynch is out requesting her title back. AJ gives her two options. One, come take it. Two, accept a tag match at Palooza. AJ and Punk versus Bex and Seth. Which we already knew that was the match, so how are they going to just make it official? This is how they chose to go about it. Rollins is out next, dressed like Mr. Ernst. You guys remember Hey Dude? This is taking it way back. Hey, dude, it's a little wild and a little strange when you make your home out on that range. Yippee-ki-yay, what like the cowboys say. Sing it again now. Hey, dude. Most of you do not remember Hey, Dude, so that was a wild 20 seconds. But it's a real show. It was back in the day on the Nickelodeon channel. I'm not sure that Nickelodeon is even still around. But there was a character called Mr. Ernst. And I'm not kidding. He had the same shirts that Seth Rollins had last night. It was a cowboy shirt. And if you guys saw Seth's shoes, they were like Jordans, but cowboy boots. They were cowboy boot Jordans, I believe. I couldn't get a real extreme close-up, but that's what it looked like. He had cowboy shoes. Cowboy boot shoes. It was with parachute pants. Does anybody remember the rave parachute pants? This was wild, man. Even when he tries to tone it down, his attire is wild. Anyway, that got a laugh from BC. Punk comes to Lee's aid because Seth tried to get the title back for Becky, and AJ was cutting him off at every pass in the middle of the ring. So Punk comes out. Becky bumps into him in the aisleway. She's like, oh no, but she can't warn Seth quick enough. Punk gets in the ring, sets Seth up for the GTS. Seth's able to escape. He gets to the outside, grabs the microphone and says, we accept, now give the title back. Becky's flipping out. She's like, yeah, I want my title back, but I'll eventually get that. I don't want to have a match with AJ. So Becky's pissed off, but Rollins is furious that Punk just did that. So Seth accepts the challenge that AJ originally laid down. I don't know. This was simplistic but effective. I have no problem with this. I'm really actually looking forward. I told you guys this on Friday night. I'm looking forward to the mixed tag match. I like mixed tag matches, man. When they have purpose, I like that more than a trios division. I was hoping that AEW was going to go with a mixed tag division, not a trios. I can't stand schmaz matches, 6-man tags. It's too much. Mixed tag, that can be unique, man. There's all these female dude mixtures you could do, and there's so many epic storylines you could roll with. I'm surprised a company hasn't rolled with that yet. And I will say this too, because it's worth more than a mention. AJ Lee and CM Punk is best for business. That's bottom line. If you don't like, I know there's a lot of people that just don't like Punk. Trust me, he's not the he's not the first person BC would have a cup of coffee with. I assure you. But when we're talking in terms of 2025 pro wrestling, WWE more specifically, when CM Punk is out there, there's a pulse to the show. There just is. There's a different level of giving a crap about this when CM Punk's music hits. AJ Lee, same thing. I mean, as much as I praise Lyra Valkyria, as much as I love Io and even Asuka, and we love Liv Morgan, and maybe you love Raquel Rodriguez, maybe Roxanne Perez Roxy. When AJ Lee's out there, it just hits differently. AJ Lee and CM Punk is best for business. Now on the flip side, Becky with Seth Rollins and vice versa. Seth with Becky is best for business. This is what I mean about what works and what doesn't. Factually, not my opinion. We all have opinions. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one. They're usually full of shit. This isn't about opinion. Factually, Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman doesn't go together. It doesn't fit. Seth doesn't even need Paul. He's his own mouthpiece. Paul Heyman with Brock works. Paul with even Roman works. Paul with Seth, even visually, the vision of Paul Heyman and Seth, it doesn't go. And again, Seth doesn't need Paul, so it really doesn't go. It's awkward. It's weird. And you could just tell it doesn't fit. It's like trying to stuff that puzzle piece where it doesn't belong. But then you see Becky and Seth, and you're like, damn, where was this all along? So Becky and Seth together, yeah, best for biz. And then Rusev defeats Penta via Machka kick pinfall. Rusev needs to keep collecting W's. Build him like a monster. It's pretty simplistic. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't botch this. Rusev, the first time around, should have been a huge deal. The fact that he left WWE and wanted to leave WWE. The fact that he went to AEW. You got him back. Don't screw it up a second time. New Day and Grayson Waller were out there getting beat up throughout the match. What are they doing? Honestly, what are they doing with New Day and Waller? Could they be any more irrelevant? At this point, you never want to see people lose their jobs. This is, I mean, they're independent contractors anyway, but at this point, just let them go. At this point, unless they're just okay collecting paychecks. I guess Xavier is. He's got his own little video game thing going on. He's getting money elsewhere. It's like Dolph Ziggler. He stopped caring about his booking. He wasn't even combative. Whatever they gave him, he did. If they said you're going to be in catering for 2 months, he stayed. And what happened to Dolph? He got let go. Dolph probably shouldn't be surprised. He stopped fighting for himself. I feel the New Day has stopped fighting for themselves. They're just showing up and being good soldiers and doing whatever that Hunter tells them, which is just nothing. Quick 5-second backstage BS, sit at catering, come out, get beat up during a random Rusev Penta match. Grayson Waller, they really have nothing, but we'll just stick you with New Day. We don't even have a reason as to why. If you think that if I heard New Day got released, that I'm going to flip out like I did R-Truth, it ain't going to happen, bro. At this point, I'm like, it's probably best for them. And guess what? If they're not going to stick up for themselves and say, dude, we need better than this. You're crushing us. Our whole career. The New Day was something. What are we right now? We come out and people fucking change the channel. You got to have a heart-to-heart with Hunter Hearst Helmsley. If your boss, you can't work at a place where you don't have that type of communication with the boss. The New Day has to have a sit-down with Hunter and just be like, dude, what are we doing, man? We don't want to just be collecting a paycheck. Because if that's where New Day is right now and they're happy collecting a paycheck, and they could be. I know Kofi's the family man. Xavier's got all this other stuff with the video games and all that. Maybe it's a Dolph Ziggler situation. A lot of the wrestlers in WWE are happy just collecting a paycheck. Anderson and what were they? AJ's people. What were they? Gallows and Anderson. They were just collecting checks. Don't be shocked when you get let go. I don't know what they're doing with New Day and Grayson Waller. They're just taking up space. And people are going to complain about AJ coming back or Nikki Bella or Brock Lesnar. The hell they doing with their current roster? This is better. Speaking of Nikki Bella, Asuka versus Nikki Bella. Brah, AJ Lee and Nikki Bella rocking out on the same show in 2025. Think of that. It's simply epic. AJ Lee and Nikki Bella on the same show in 2025. And the fact that they both look the same that they did in 2015, dumbfounding. Nikki taps out to the Asuka lock. So everybody relax. Nikki's taking a roster spot. Dude, she just put over Asuka. Asuka will have the storyline going forward with Io. It's okay. And let's not act like Asuka's a spring chicken that Nikki has to put over, by the way. I think Asuka is older than Nikki. So it's not like Nikki's coming back to put over the young Lyras and such. So relax. Nikki taps out to the Asuka lock. And then backstage, they did this weird thing where Rhea kind of like, the mean girls walked up to Nikki Bella, right? Asuka and Kairi, even though it's just Asuka being mean, Kairi's in like this weird friendship relationship where she's like scared to go against her friend. So Rhea has to step up for Nikki, and they're setting up some tag team between, I guess, Rhea and Nikki and Asuka and Kairi. Somehow Io is going to be involved in all of this. Because Asuka doesn't want anybody talking to Io, I guess that's going to somehow directly affect Io's matchup at the Palooza and somehow get the title onto Stephanie V. Anyway, future booking, but it looks like that's where we're headed. And then the main event, LA Knight versus Bronson Reed. Reed pins Knight via Jagged End. I didn't hear what this was called. What happened to the tsunami? Jagged edge, jagged end, and LA Knight is looking up at the lights. Post-match, the Bronze put a beating on LA mid-gym for the save. And then Jey Uso hits the ring. And Jey spears LA Knight to end the show. So again, the Bronze post-match are beating up LA Knight. Mid-gym comes down. Then Jey comes down to the Usos. The heels run off, but now there's tension between the faces. Again, because we need something for LA Knight. So Jey spears LA Knight. And the crowd instantly starts booing. Not instantly. The funny part was they all went silent because they're like, oh, don't we like Jey? But then they're like, yeah, but we really like LA Knight. So then they all just started booing Jey Uso. Jey Boo-so. That's right. I said Boo-so. Hey, man, if they can have a shirt, Monday Night Raw, I can say Jey Boo-so. Jey Boo-so is not any more corny than Monday Night Raw, and you know it. So they boo-soed. And that's how we went off the air, man. A booing of Jey Uso. I didn't have that on the bingo card. That we would end the night with Jey Uso being booed. Nights after Samuel Zayn, who just got the IC title and is being positioned for a world title victory at WrestleMania 42 in Vegas, Sam Zayn was being booed out of Chicago. And a few nights later, Jason Yeaterman being booed out of Milwaukee because he speared LA Knight. I don't know if that was the reaction Helmsley thought he was going to get, but that's how many people did not want to see LA Knight A, lose, and then B, take a spear and end the show on his back. And we got to talk about Tessa Torre. I like his work for the most part. There's a few things I can't stand, like how he starts every show as if we're in a depressed, we're waking up from a depressed nap, right? Like we all took a multi-hour nap and we woke up and we're groggy and a little depressed. And he's just like, welcome everybody, the Monday Night Raw. Tonight, we're in Milwaukee and we have a good show for you tonight. In fact, a great show. And we're going to start it with Usos. I'm not even joking. That's how we start these shows. It was Friday Night SmackDown for a long time. They had to do a commentary change because of college football. Tess has some stuff that he still does with ESPN. So he went over to Monday nights and with Corey Graves, and Wade Barrett will be going back to Friday, despite Corey being there on Friday night. Wade Barrett is going to join Michael Cole on Friday nights. So now Tessa Torre is on Monday nights, putting us to sleep. But when he hits his high octanes, it's at the most random of times, and it's not even believable. It's not realistic. Guys, when Jim Uso was coming out for the save, Tessa Torre flipped out like it was the Jim Ross Austin call. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! That fit. And by the way, it fit because it's also Steve Austin. This is medium-sized Jim Uso. And Tessa Torre, and I know the job of the commentator is to bring that excitement. Again, I wish that was there the rest of the show. I wish that was there when we start the show, Tess. But this is not believable. It's Jimmy Uso, bro. It's not the second coming. It's not Undertaker. It's not Steve Austin. It's not Rock. It's just not. It's not even Roman. It's Jimmy Uso. And Tessa Torre he's having an out-of-body orgasmic experience. Big Jim! Big Jim! It's Big Jim, Corey! I swear it's Big Jim! I'm having to do a triple take. I'm like, am I missing? I mean, is he bringing Austin and Undertaker with him? It's Jimmy Uso. And he's screaming, Big Jim! Oh my God, it's Big Jim! Naomi doesn't even scream that when they're about to do the deed. Naomi doesn't scream it. Tessa Torre, it's not believable, man. The excitement, okay. Whoa, we have to come up with something different other than screaming the guy's name 12 times as if he's doing something huge. He's just coming down to even the odds, bro. LA Knight is not being crushed by a dumpster, right? A truck is not landing a dumpster or a piano onto LA Knight. He's just getting some stomps from the Bronze. Big Jab! Oh my God, Big Jab! And then LA Knight, right, when the faces gain control, LA Knight has a steel chair, and he's just tapping the bronze with it, right? He's just little... And Tessa Torre is screaming, steel chair! He's got a steel chair! Oh my God, Corey! A steel chair! I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what are you flipping out about, bro? Have you never seen a steel chair? You would have thought he lit him on fire. And then threw him on thumbtacks. And then the middle of traffic. And he got ran over by a school bus or a plethora of school buses. He got tapped with a steel chair, and Tessa Torre's losing his shit. Guys, these are not minor details that have to be talked about. This is where like learning from somebody like Jim Ross would be beneficial. Learning from Michael Cole is beneficial because Cole is so good at what he does. But I don't know if Cole had the proper time to train Tessa Torre. But you know, there's times to have some exciting, you know, put some some amplification to the voice. I appreciate that. But it's Jimmy Uso, bro. Make it realistic. Because then when there comes a time for that climactic moment and you have to bring that amplification, we're going to be like, dude, he's done that for steel chairs and Big Jim. And I'm still looking to see, where's the Big Jim? It's a medium-sized Jim Uso. And again, the ending was LA Knight losing and then LA Knight getting a spear and the crowd is booing Jey. All of that equity and the dancing and the yeeting and everybody is booing this dude. What does it lead to? You're going to split your audience with a Jey versus LA Knight match? Nobody wins. Jay's not going to win from this. LA Knight doesn't win from this. You split your audience. At this, I don't know if is there a better booker between Paul Levesque McMahon and Tony Khan, or are they both just really bad at what they do? That would be the question. Is one truly better than the other, or are they both just really bad? All right, that's going to do it for the Raw 9/8/2025 review. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Amplified status unit. Salute. Until next time, and there will be that next time. We'll check ya.